Good afternoon. My name is June Karen. I'm the Ward Alderman for Ward 7. And on behalf of the Inauguration Committee, I am pleased to welcome you to the 108th inauguration of Nashua's city government. At this time, I would like to introduce our Master of Ceremonies, who will then take the podium to conduct this afternoon's program. William Barry III is a native of Nashua. He graduated from the College of Holy Cross with an A.B. in economics and received his Juris Doctor degree from St. Louis University Law School in 1984. Bill has been a member of the New Hampshire Bar since 1984 and the Massachusetts Bar Association since 1985. He is presently a partner in Barry & Honorio, attorneys at law in Nashua. Bill is a third-generation Nashua native whose grandfather, William H. Barry, was mayor of Nashua from 1911 to 1914. Bill has supported Nashua charities and other nonprofit organizations for many years, serving on various boards and committees. His civic positions are numerous, but includes serving as Nashua Rotary Club President, Nashua Soup Kitchen and Shelter President, Trustee of the Southern New Hampshire Medical Center, and Commissioner of the Nashua Police Department. Currently, Bill is a member of the Board of Directors of the Nashua Rotary Club, the President's Circle of Riviera University, the Girls Inc. Capital Campaign Program, and the Village Network. He has also served on the Greater Nashua Chamber of Commerce Board, Nashua Senior Center Board, Temple Beth Abraham Board, Nashua North Youth Baseball Board, as state rep in the New Hampshire House of Representatives, and coached Nashua Youth Soccer, Nashua Junior Biddy and Biddy Basketball, Cal Ripken Baseball, and the Pride Plus basketball team. Bill lives in Nashua with his wife, Helen, and two children, Ariel and Will. And it's a great pleasure to introduce Mr. William Barry.
Thank you very much, June, and I'd also like to thank my mother for embellishing my list of accomplishments. Before we begin today, I would like to ask the color guard from the Nashua Police Department to post the colors. Please remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance and the Star-Spangled Banner. I call to the stage Alexandra Cookson, who will lead us into the pledge to the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Alexandra. The Star-Spangled Banner will be sung by Francis Scott Key, and Alan St. Louis, a Nashua native, will do the honor.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
The Nashua Police Department Color Guard will now retire the colors. The Reverend Daniel St. Laurent will now lead us in the invocation.
This is from the first book of Kings in the Hebrew Scriptures. In Gibeon, the Lord appeared to Solomon in a dream. And God said, "Whatever you ask, I shall give you." Solomon answered, "You have shown great kindness to your servant David, my father, because he walked before you with fidelity, justice, and an upright heart. And you have continued this great kindness toward him today, giving him a son to sit upon his throne. Now, Lord my God, you have made me your servant, but I am young, not knowing at all how to act. I, your servant among the people you have chosen, a people so vast that it cannot be numbered or counted. Give your servant, therefore, a listening heart to judge your people and to distinguish between good and evil." The Lord was pleased by Solomon's request. We pray. God of all nations, creator of the human family, we give you thanks for the freedom we exercise and the many blessings of democracy we enjoy. We ask for your protection and your guidance for these elected servants and pray that they, like Solomon, will have a listening heart in all their deliberations. May they be humble enough to admit that no one has all the wisdom, but everyone has wisdom. In their meetings and discourses, may they be guided by a spirit to work for the common good. Heal whatever differences there may be, and unite all, Lord God, that in the days and years ahead, they will serve with the common purpose, with dedication, and a commitment to serve all the people of Nashua, and especially those who are most vulnerable in our midst. Amen.
Thank you, Father. If you'd remain standing for one brief moment. It's been a tough week for the Nashua Police Department, and could we take a moment of silence to remember former Chief Donald Gross and Police Commissioner Robert Valade? Amen. Thank you. Please be seated. I would like to begin by extending my sincere congratulations to all the newly elected city officials and wish them success in all their endeavors. You know, there's a certain presidential candidate who states that he wants to make America great again. My comment is greater than what? We live in, what other nation in the world is greater than us? We live in the greatest nation, reside in the greatest state, and live and work in the greatest city, in the greatest nation, in the greatest state. And what makes us great is the events that will be unfolding today, the 108th inauguration of our city government. In our country's state and city, we have always uniquely transferred power without resort to war, coup, intimidation, or threat. We do so by the power and the force of a ballot, an equal ballot. Now, that's not always to say that elections are cordial or considerate, but it had always been a bloodless transfer of power where our weapons are our ideas, and our enemies, in our armies, are the untold masses of volunteers assisting the candidates in spreading his and her ideas and messages. Representing the city of Nashua, we have many people to thank today. In minor part, we should thank the New England Patriots for achieving a bye so that we don't have to run out of here. We, the citizens, also thank all of you on this stage that will be sworn in to serve for a 2- or 4-year term. We thank you for your time, efforts, and monies in getting elected, and we thank you for the countless hours that you will spend sacrificing your time for the greater good of the city of Nashua. Words you will not hear enough, but you should during your service, is thank you. I thank you in advance on behalf of the citizens for the work you'll do over the next 2 or 4 years. You are heroes in our community. We should also extend our thanks to the candidates that weren't elected, for they also invested their time and efforts and money, but they came up a little short in the ballot box. You candidates, which will be servants, are better off for having been challenged on your ideas by those candidates. They have made you better candidates, and they have made you better servants. Without political opponents, we are potentially lesser servants in our duties. Democracy requires and thrives when political offices are challenged. So to all those who ran for office, we thank you. As candidates and soon-to-be elected servants, you have willingly invested your time and resources to get elected, and you will voluntarily undertake your time going forward. The greater heroes, or equal heroes to you, though, are your families. They should be thanked. The husbands, wives, partners, children, siblings, and parents, they will sacrifice for you. They will allow you to be the very best servants possible. They will pick up the slack from the domestic duties, attending the school activities, games, recitals, homework assignments, attending to the sick that you may have. They do it. You chose to do it. They willingly do it for you. They will be behind the scenes doing it without fanfare, voluntarily supporting you, while you do the greater good for us. So I say to all of you family members, on behalf of your family, congratulations, you are heroes, equal or greater heroes, and thank you for allowing them to do their jobs. I would now like to introduce the incumbent city officials and special guests who are here on the stage. First, the Reverend Daniel St. Laurent, retired pastor of St. Aloysius Gonzaga Parish, also known as St. Louis. Incumbent Board of Aldermen at Large Mark Cookson, Alderman at Large David Dean, Alderman at Large Daniel T. Moriarty, incumbent members of the school board, George Farrington, David Murataki, Dottie Oden, Sandra Ziem, incumbent members of the Board of Public Works, Paul Bergeron and Tracy Pappas, incumbent members of the Fire Commission, David Lavoie and Kenneth Marquis, Clerk Patricia Piazzu, Corporation Counsel Stephen Bennett, Chief of Police Andrew Lavoie, Public Works Director Lisa Foto, Superintendent of Schools Mark Conrad, and we have two special guests who are participating in today's program, United States Senator Kelly Ayotte and Governor Maggie Hassan. Thank you. Now, as Master of Ceremonies, I'm very pleased to have the opportunity to introduce our two guests who will deliver a few remarks at this inaugural event. First, we welcome Senator Kelly Ayotte. Kelly is a Nashua native who has devoted her life to public service. She is the first as a longtime prosecutor and now United States Senator. In 1998, she served as legal counsel to the governor for 3 months before returning to the office of Attorney General. She served as chief of the state's homicide unit and deputy attorney general before being named in 2004 as New Hampshire's first female attorney general. First elected to the United States Senate in 2010, Senator Ayotte currently serves on the Armed Services, the Budget, Commerce, and Homeland and Security Governmental Affairs Committees. She is the chair of the Armed Services Subcommittees on Readiness and the Commerce Subcommittee on Aviation Operations. She is a graduate of Pennsylvania State University and the Villanova University School of Law. Senator Ayotte.
Well, good afternoon. I am so honored to be here today for this important inauguration and celebration. First of all, I want to thank Bill for all that you and Helen and your family does in service to this city. I'm very honored to be here with Governor Hassan, Mayor Donchis, the members of the Board of Aldermen, and all of the leaders in our city, the members of the boards and commissions, those of you who are being sworn in today, and those of you who continue to serve. Because it's the leaders of this city that do so much to make our city a wonderful place to live, to work, and to raise a family. As someone who actually was born here in Nashua and graduated from Nashua High when there was only one high school, I have watched our city grow with so much pride. Joe and I are now raising our 2 children here, and I believe that the city that our children inherit will be even better than the city that we live in today. And I know that Nashua will continue to thrive and grow because of the leaders who are here on this stage that we recognize today, and because of the work of everyday citizens in our community who selflessly give of their time in their nonprofits, in our schools, to help their neighbors, to make Nashua that special place that we call home. I want to congratulate each and every one of you who are here today for your leadership, for your dedicated stewardship of our city. And I especially want to congratulate Mayor Donchis. And I join my fellow Nashua residents in welcoming you back to the mayor's office. And I want to thank you and Vicki for continuing to serve our city and for your willingness to step up again in this important leadership position. You have already devoted so many years of public service to Nashua through the Board of Aldermen, through countless nonprofits and causes that you've supported, and it is clear how deeply you care about the people of Nashua. I also happen to know from having worked with our mayor when I was Attorney General that our city is in very smart and capable hands. And I want to commend you for beginning your new term with a strong commitment to listening to local residents through town hall meetings and making sure that everyone has a seat at the table when it comes to making city decisions about our city's future. I also want to congratulate the new leaders of our Board of Aldermen, Chairman Brian McCarthy and Vice Chair Lori Wilshire, and each of the newly elected members of our Board of Aldermen who are being sworn in today, and all of those who are being sworn in leading this city today. Thank you to all the current and new members of our Board of Aldermen. I know that there are many hours that you put in, and also the members of our boards and commissions, thankless hours, and we want to thank you today for what you do, because what you do every day makes a tremendous difference for our city. And I know that you take calls at all times of the day, so thank you for that. In fact, one of the reasons that Nashua is such a great city is it's the way that our mayor and Board of Aldermen and the leaders of this city work together despite coming from different political backgrounds. You recognize that we are all proud Titans and Purple Panthers who need to come together for the good of everyone. So I want to thank you for that. As a city, we have new opportunities, and that's what we celebrate today. And with those come challenges. I know that you will all work together to further improve the Gate City through focusing on our schools, strengthening our downtown and business community, and working together to combat the heroin epidemic facing our city and our state. And I will continue to be a strong partner with you in those efforts. Heroin is sapping the potential of our city and our state, and it is taking the lives of far too many of our neighbors and friends. So many in our state and our city have shared their heartbreaking stories with me. Our first responders are saving lives every day, administering the life-saving drug of Narcan, and helping those in our community. And I want to thank our police chief, Andy Lavoie, and our fire chief, Steve Gallipo, and all the men and women in uniform who defend and protect our city for their incredible work every day on our behalf. Thank you. Not only do we need to support their efforts, but we also need more focus on prevention and more support for treatment and recovery services to help those in our community who are struggling with addiction. That's why I will continue to push for more resources at the federal level and national legislation, which I'm a co-sponsor of, called the Comprehensive Addiction and Recovery Act, to help support the local efforts that are happening here in the community, and I know the commitment that the mayor has already made to addressing this epidemic. I know that by all of us working together, that we can beat this epidemic and ensure that those who are struggling with addiction get the help that they need, and that we all work together to improve the quality of life of all of our citizens. As we enter into this new term, I again want to commend each and every one of you who are here for your service to your neighbors, to your fellow Nashuans. And as your senator, I want to know that your input and your guidance is very critical to me. And I'm here to help and serve you. I look forward to working with you as we strive to build an even brighter future for our city and every citizen of Nashua. Again, I want to congratulate all of you. I want to thank you for your dedicated service, thank your family members, and I wish you the best for this new term. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Ayotte. I now have the honor of introducing Governor Maggie Hassan. Governor Hassan was sworn in as New Hampshire's 81st governor on January 3rd, 2013. Governor Hassan began her career in public service in 1999 when then-Governor Shaheen asked her to serve on the advisory committee to the Adequacy in Education and Finance Commission. Her experience as a business attorney, along with her role as the parent of 2 children, one of whom experiences severe disabilities, enabled her to provide a unique perspective to the Commission on its work. In 2004, Governor Hassan was first elected to the New Hampshire Senate, serving the people of District 23. During her 6 years in office as senator, she was elected by her colleagues to serve as both President pro tem and Majority Leader of the Senate. The governor earned her BA from Brown University and her Juris Doctor from Northeastern School of Law. Governor Hassan.
Well, thank you, Bill, and thank you and Helen as well for everything you do for the city and for the state. It is truly a privilege to be here today as we honor the service of Nashua's elected leaders and celebrate the future of this really great city. I do want to take a moment to add my condolences to the Nashua Police Department and all of the citizens of Nashua for the losses of Bob Valade and Donald Gross over the last couple of weeks. They were both true public servants, giving a great deal to this city, and I know that their absence is felt very, very keenly here. I also want to take a moment, even though she isn't here, to thank Mayor Lozo and all of the outgoing city officials for truly tireless dedication to making progress for the people of Nashua. And I'll add my thanks to your families, too. Families really make sacrifices that allow all of the public servants who serve the city of Nashua to do their job. And I thank Mayor Lozo's family. I thank all the families for outgoing and incoming city officials as well. And I want to just take a moment to note my appreciation for Mayor Lozo's strong leadership of our state's second largest city, and especially in her work that I know Mayor Donchis will continue in really advocating in the fight against substance abuse. I know that Mayor Lozo is not stepping away from service, but will be making a truly positive impact on fellow Granite Staters in the future in her new role as Executive Director of Southern New Hampshire Services, and I wish her well in that job. It's such a critical, critical partner to so much of what we do in the city and in the state. And to Mayor Donchis and the newly elected Board of Aldermen, Fire Commission, Board of Public Works, Board of Education, and other elected officials, congratulations. I look forward to working with you as we build an even brighter economic future for all of our people and our businesses. Nashua has been a truly and critical economic driver for New Hampshire's economy, helping lead the way in innovation and in really growing our high-tech industry. The recent opening of the Broad Street Parkway also represents a great economic development opportunity for the city. The Parkway has already generated significant economic activity and demonstrates what we can accomplish when we all work together. With Mayor Donchis and your strong new leadership team at the helm, I know that you'll continue to realize this city's enormous potential. As a state, we have come a long way since the height of the recession, and we have been making and seeing many encouraging signs of progress. Our state's unemployment rate is now 3.2%, the 4th lowest in the country and the lowest in New England. And in 2014, our economic growth was tied for the best in New England and beating the national average. While our state's economy remains ahead of the curve in many respects, we also know that our global economy has fundamentally changed. These changes, for better and for worse, are driven both by advances in technology and by an interconnected global economy. And as we look toward the future, we know that there are no simple solutions, and there's no going back. So it's critical that we help people adapt to our changing economy so that everyone has the opportunity to get ahead and to stay ahead. There are 3 things in particular I would just want to mention today that I know we're all going to need to continue to work together on. First, we need to focus on relevant student-based competency education, education that is accessible and affordable for all of our people at all stages of life and career. Second, we'll need to come together to make sure that our workforce is not only well-educated, but also healthy. So we'll continue to work together to combat the opioid epidemic and improve community-based mental health. Mayor Lozo and Chief Lavoie have been leading advocates in the fight against substance abuse, making a difference both locally and statewide. Harbor Homes and Keystone Hall have provided great models for providers across the state in prevention, treatment, and recovery efforts. And I know that under Mayor Donchis's leadership, Nashua will continue to be a leader in this fight. And third, we'll need to continue to innovate in the public sector, ensuring that our state and local governments remain nimble and responsive to the needs of the business community and our people. In addition to those three things, I also pledge to continue to work with all of you to bring rail to Nashua and beyond. We know we are going to need to continue to build on these efforts to close the opportunity gap so that all of our people, our families, and children have a chance to share in our success. I have had the great privilege of spending a lot of this week at inaugurations of different local mayors and city councils. It is a reminder, whether it's our state's largest city like Nashua, our second largest city like Nashua, our largest city like Manchester, or the smaller cities, I am reminded each and every day that New Hampshire blends individualism and community unlike anywhere else. We do it because we never forget that good decision-making and good problem-solving starts with each other. It starts with that kind of mutual respect and understanding that there's talent and energy in each and every one of us, and that a variety of perspectives makes for better solutions. More than anything, that is what New Hampshire stands for. That is what Nashua has demonstrated time and time again. We know that there will be challenges ahead, but if we stay true to the traditions that makes the Granite State strong, cooperation, bipartisanship, and common sense problem solving, together we can keep Nashua and our entire state moving in the right direction. Thank you for the privilege of being with you this morning, and congratulations.
Thank you, Governor. I now call to the podium Clerk Patricia Piazzu, who will now administer the oath of office to the various positions as a result of the November 3rd, 2015 election. Clerk?
Thank you.
We are assembled here today for the inauguration of the 108th City Government for the City of Nashua. The Mayor-elect, Alderman-elect at large, Ward Alderman-elect, Board of Education-elect, Board of Public Works-elect, Fire Commissioners-elect, and Ward officials-elect are assembled this day agreeably to the provisions of the City Charter of the City of Nashua for the purpose herein of taking their oath for the office as law required. Now, I would ask that the ward officials come to the front of the stage once I start announcing the office and begin reading their names to take their oath of office. I am very honored to be swearing in the election officials. These individuals are going to be coming on a presidential primary in less than a month. Some of them are going to be their first term. Some of them, it'll be like their 15th term where they've served 30 years. The City of Nashua and their residents and the voters are very, very fortunate to have these individuals serve as your ward election officials. They spend, on average, on election day, 16 hours in the polls at least. And prior to that, they spend 3 to 4 hours between posting of notices, training, or counting of their ballots. So I'm very honored to be able to provide the oath of office to them today. So the results for Ward Selectmen. So if you could please make your way up to, start waking up your way. I'm going to ask you to stand right in front of the stage. On the bottom, the results of the votes cast for Ward Selectmen was duly canvassed by the Board of Aldermen and by law provided, and it appearing therefore that the following individuals have been duly elected Ward Selectmen for the City of Nashua, and they are qualified as such for the ensuing 2 years. Ward 1, Earl Chadwick. Elaine Dorgan. Could you guys please start coming down? Thank you. John Gill Jr. Ward 2, Alex DaCosta. Teresa Moeller. Roseanne Page. Ward 3, Martha P. Barrett. Sheila McLaughlin. Paula E. Smith. Ward 4, James Dufault. Margaret Grunick. G. Anita Peralt. Ward 5, Frank Clark, Catherine Gates, Elaine Marshall. Ward 6, Ronald Doucette, Vicki Henry, Irene Whitmore. Ward 7, Colleen Bester Capucci, Judy Blachik, Al Sewell. Ward 8, Linda Malmarich, Mary Ellen Reed, William Reed. In Ward 9, Amanda Mazzaro, Patricia Morrow, and Laura Sutton. Okay, if I can have everybody please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear that you will faithfully and impartially discharge and perform all the duties incumbent upon you as Ward Selectman for the City of Nashua, according to the best of your abilities, agreeably to the rules and regulations of the City Charter and the Constitution and the laws of the State of New Hampshire, so help you God? Thank you. Okay, this ward clerks. So the result of the cast for ward clerks was duly canvassed by the Board of Aldermen, and as by law provided, and appearing therefrom, that the following individuals have been duly elected ward clerks for the City of Nashua, and they are qualified as such for the ensuing 2 years. If you could please make your way down. Ward 1, Mary Poston. Ward 2, Maureen Lunn. Ward 3, Diane Griffin. Ward 4, William Copson. Ward 5, Helen Dumont. Ward 6, Carol Lappin. Ward 7, Linda Twombly. Ward 8, Johanna Lyle Newbold. And Ward 9, Ann Corbett. Thank you. Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear that you will faithfully and impartially discharge and perform all the duties incumbent upon you as ward clerk for the City of Nashua, according to the best of your abilities, agreeably to the rules and regulations of the City Charter and the Constitution and the laws of the State of New Hampshire, so help you God? Thank you. Ward moderators. The result of the votes cast for ward moderator was duly canvassed by the Board of Aldermen and by law provided, and it appearing therefrom that the following individuals have been duly elected ward moderators of the City of Nashua, and they are qualified as such for the ensuing 2 years. So if you please make your way down. Ward 1, Patricia Chadwick. Ward 2, Michael Jerry Ryan. Ward 3, Arthur Barrett, Jr. Ward 4, James Barnett. Ward 5, Albertine Clark. Ward 6, Jay Corbin. Ward 7, Timothy Twombly. Ward 8, John Lyle. And Ward 9, Donald Dillaby. Would you please raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear that you will faithfully and impartially discharge and perform all the duties incumbent upon you as ward moderator for the City of Nashua, according to the best of your abilities, agreeably to the rules and regulations of the city charter and the Constitution and the laws of the state of New Hampshire, so help you God? Thank you. Corporation Counsel Stephen Bennett will administer the oath of office to the newly elected city officials on the Board of Education, the Board of Public Works, and Fire Commission, who are seated on the stage. We will begin with the Fire Commission, and I would ask that the newly elected officials stand as I announce the office and begin reading their names to take their oath of office. The Fire Commission. The results of the votes cast for Fire Commission was duly canvassed by the Board of Aldermen, as by law provided, and appearing therefore that Craig Adams, Kevin Gage, and Paul Garant have been duly elected members of the Fire Commission for the City of Nashua, and they are qualified as such for the ensuing 4 years.
Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear that you will faithfully and impartially discharge and perform the duties incumbent upon you as a member of the Board of Fire Commissioners for the City of Nashua according to the best of your abilities and agreeable to the rules and regulations of the city charter and the Constitution and laws of the state of New Hampshire, so help you God? Thank you. Congratulations.
Board of Public Works. The results cast for the Board of Public Works was duly canvassed by the Board of Aldermen as law provided, and appearing therefrom that Joel Ackerman and Kevin S. Moriarty have been duly elected members of the Board of Public Works for the City of Nashua, and they are qualified as such for the ensuing 4 years.
Raise your right hand, please. Do you solemnly swear that you will faithfully and impartially discharge and perform all the duties incumbent upon you as a member of the Board of Public Works for the City of Nashua, according to the best of your abilities and agreeable with the rules and regulations of the city charter and the Constitution and laws of the state of New Hampshire, so help you God? Thank you. Congratulations. Yeah, I'll just step over you.
Board of Education. The results cast for Board of Education was duly canvassed by the Board of Aldermen, as by law provided, and it appearing therefore that Howard D. Kaufman, Robert G. Hallowell, Doris Hohense, William E. Mosher, and Elizabeth Van Twyler have been duly elected members of the Board of Education of the City of Nashua, and they are qualified as such for the ensuing 4 years.
Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear that you will faithfully and impartially discharge and perform all the duties incumbent upon you as a member of the Board of Education for the City of New Hampshire to the best of your abilities and agreeable to the rules and regulations of the city charter and the Constitution and laws of the state of New Hampshire, so help you God? I do. Thank you and congratulations. Thank you.
Nashua High School North students and Nashua High School South students vote each year to elect a student representative from each school to serve as their non-voting members of the Board of Education. This year, representatives of Alexandra Norris from Nashua High School North and Mary Zhu from Nashua High School South. I'd ask that you both stand and take your oath of office.
Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear that you will faithfully and impartially discharge and perform all the duties incumbent upon you as a student member of the Board of Education for the City of Nashua, according to the best of your abilities and agreeable to the rules and regulations of the city charter and the Constitution and laws of the state of New Hampshire, so help you God? Thank you and congratulations. That's it.
The Honorable William Berry III will administer the oath of office for the Board of Aldermen and the office of Mayor. This will be for the ward alderman for 2 years. The result of the votes cast for ward alderman was duly canvassed by the Board of Aldermen, as by law provided, and appearing therefrom that Sean M. McGinnis, Ward 1, Richard A. Dowd, Ward 2, David Shuneman, Ward 3, Thomas Lopez, Ward 4, Don LeBrun, Ward 5, Benjamin Clemens, Ward 6, June M. Karen, Ward 7, Mary Ann Malizzi-Gola, Ward 8, and Ken Siegel, Ward 9, have been duly elected ward aldermen for the city of Nashua, and they are qualified as such for the ensuing 2 years.
Would you raise your right hand? You solemnly swear that you would faithfully and impartially discharge and perform all of the duties incumbent upon you as a ward alderman according to the best of your abilities, agreeably to the rules and regulations of the city charter and the Constitution and the laws of the state of New Hampshire, so help you God? I do. Congratulations.
Alderman at Large. The result of the votes cast for the office of Alderman at Large was duly canvassed by the Board of Aldermen, as by law provided, and appearing therefrom that Brian S. McCarthy, Michael B. O'Brien, and Laurie Wilshire have been duly elected Aldermen at Large for the city of Nashua, and they are qualified as such for the ensuing 4 years.
Raise your right hand, please. Do you solemnly swear that you will faithfully and impartially discharge and perform all of the duties incumbent upon you as an alderman at large of the city of Nashua, according to the best of your abilities, agreeably to the rules and regulations of the city charter and the Constitution and the laws of the state of New Hampshire, so help you God? Congratulations.
Mayor, the results of the votes cast for the office of mayor was duly canvassed by the Board of Aldermen, and as by law provided, and it pairing therefrom that Jim Donchis has been duly elected to the office of mayor of the city of Nashua and is qualified as such for the ensuing 4 years.
Mr. Mayor, raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear that you will faithfully and impartially discharge and perform the duties incumbent upon you as mayor of the city of Nashua, according to the best of your abilities, agreeably to the rules and regulations of the city charter and the Constitution and the laws of the state of New Hampshire, so help you God?
I do.
Congratulations, Mr. Mayor.
Well, good afternoon. Welcome to all of our Nashua citizens, our families, our friends who've come to our inauguration today. We really thank you for your interest and your love of our city. And before we go further, I wanted to give my condolences to the families of Bob Vallad, former police commissioner, and former police chief Don Gross, and we feel badly for their loss. Well, we're here today because we believe in city government. At the city level, we deliver services that families in our community need to grow and thrive. We provide the education that families need to get their kids ready for jobs, for careers, and for having families of their own. We keep our neighborhoods safe. We acquire and improve the parks that add beauty and meaning and fulfillment to people in our community. We pick up the garbage, we plow the streets, and we make sure the sewers work. In city government, we are also involved in broader issues. Through our economic development and planning departments, we work to bring jobs and economic development to our community and our state. Soon we will be acting to encourage our residents to employ solar power, a green initiative. In addition, we are involved in the wars against heroin and against homelessness. And at Nashua City Hall and in city halls across the country, we work to deliver the services that people need the most without serious acrimony and without gridlock. However, to best succeed, we need partners at the state and at the local and the federal level. So I want to thank Governor Maggie Hassan and Senator Kelly Ayotte, both of whom came to us today, as well as members of our state delegation from Nashua, for their interest and support for our city government. Certainly thank you to June Karen and all who planned and are participating in our inauguration today, including my distinguished friend Bill Berry, whose grandfather preceded me and was mayor of the city from 1911 to 1914. And of course, we need to thank, in her absence, Mayor Donnelly Lozo for her dedicated service, 8 years as mayor and many years in the state legislature. Mayor Lozo loves our city and worked hard and effectively on important projects, large and small, for Nashua. Of course, you would not be surprised to hear that although she's on vacation now, she worked all day Friday on the details, making sure that we have a smooth transition. So we want to make sure that we thank her for all that she's done for Nashua. Now, of course, I want to give my congratulations to the Board of Aldermen, the school board, and to all the other city officials who are being sworn in today. Thank you for your willingness to serve our community and the time that you put in all of your jobs. And maybe more importantly, we want to thank the families of the people, of our elected officials, because they give up time with their spouse or their loved one on nights and weekends when city business requires the attention of the official. And of course, over the years, I've been involved in city government a number of times, and my wife Vicki and daughter Caroline have always been there for me, and I want to thank you for all of your support over that long period of time. Now, I'd like to also say congratulations to Alderman Brian McCarthy for being elected as the next president of the Board of Aldermen. Brian has served on the board for 22 years. During that time, he has offered many thoughtful ideas and has worked on many important projects for Nashua. Brian was one of the early champions of the city's acquisition of Pennachuck Waterworks. He's been instrumental in updating the city's master plan and zoning laws, and he believes we need to be ambitious in our aspirations for Nashua. Also, thank you to Alderman David Dean, who served the last 2 years as president. David, too, has served the city for many years, both as an alderman at large and as a BPW commissioner. David has dedicated himself for decades to youth sports in Nashua. He knows the budget and has helped save city taxpayers money on many occasions. David has championed the ideal of excellence in basic city services, neighborhoods and schools that are safe, streets that are paved, traffic that flows smoothly, athletic fields that are kept up, and getting the right equipment for the right job. Thank you, David. And I look forward to working with both Brian and David, as well as Lori Wilshire, our vice president, and the other 12 members of the Board of Aldermen over the next 4 years. Because we all need to work together and seize the opportunities we have to make our community even better. We need to harness the energy and imagination that we know is here, not only among our elected officials, but also among you in the audience and those in our broader community, in order to improve our community. We know we have a great city, but by working together, we can make it even greater. And over the next years, Nashua faces a number of challenges on which we need to work together to achieve results. We need to work more cooperatively and effectively on the crisis of heroin addiction that you've all heard about so much. And to this end, I will be convening a meeting of the major participants in our struggle against heroin. Those include our police, fire, and public health departments, our hospitals and medical providers, our treatment center Keystone Hall, the National Prevention Coalition with Jan Valuk, and many others to better coordinate all of our anti-heroin efforts. We also need to grow our city with more jobs and economic opportunity for all of our citizens. And we do have important economic development initiatives going on right now. The Gateway Hills development and the Flatley Challenge, which was in today's paper for this year, has attracted high-quality technology employers like Plexus, Innovus, and Benchmark to our South End, as well as the jobs that have come with them. The Flatley Challenge and the Gatewood Hills development are major economic development successes for Nashua and for our state, successes which we need to build upon in the years ahead. When I was mayor before, Nashua's population was booming, and it was often growing too quickly at times. Yet over the last 10 years, our population has not grown. So we need now to attract new families to our community with great schools, with a reasonable tax rate, with a growing tax base, with rail service to Boston, and with more housing and a performing arts center downtown, with a greater focus on the beauty of our rivers and the opportunities that they provide us. And with these and other exciting challenges, I believe that we can make the changes that will retain and attract the young people that we need for Nashua's future success. Now, during the past weeks since the election, I have met with the leaders of city government as well as leaders of our city staff. I've met with others who are equally important, such as Paul Shea of the Great American Downtown, Kathy Hirsch of City Arts, Tom Monahan of the Conway Arena and the Housing Authority, James Veo of Renaissance Nashua, Eric Valier of our Symphony, Father Marcos at St. Louis, and many other people. But I can say that we need every one of you, not only those, but many others, to be working together over the next 4 years for Nashua's success. And as has been mentioned already briefly, I do want to initiate a new era of transparency and citizen involvement in our community so that our city government, I believe, will work more effectively and more efficiently. We will seek the opinion, and we will be doing this by seeking the opinion of city residents over the course of the next few weeks in town hall meetings in every neighborhood of our city. I want to hear directly from you what your hopes and ideas are for our community so that together we can make our community even greater. So thank you again to all of you for your interest in and love for our community. I feel honored and privileged to begin serving as your mayor of Nashua again, starting tomorrow morning. Thank you for placing your trust in me. My mission is to make Nashua an even better place to live, to work, to raise a family, and to grow a business. And I know that by working together, we can make this happen. Thank you very much.
I now call the Reverend Daniel St. Laurent, who will now lead us in the benediction.
The Lord said to Moses, "Speak to Aaron and his sons and tell them, this is how you shall bless the people. Say to them, the Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord let his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. The Lord look upon you kindly and give you peace. Amen.
Thank you, Father. We now have one more piece of business before we conclude. Would you please remain seated for the organizational meeting of the Board of Aldermen. Following the organizational meeting, the doors of the cafeteria will be open, and please stay to enjoy light refreshments with our newly elected officials.
I'll call the organizational meeting of the Board of Aldermen to order at 1:10 p.m. on Sunday, January 10th at the Nashua High School Auditorium. At this time, I will call the roll. I'll call the roll alphabetically by Alderman at large and then numerically by Ward Alderman. Alderman Cookson?
Present.
Alderman Dean?
I am here.
Alderman McCarthy?
Present.
Alderman Moriarty?
I'm here.
Alderman O'Brien?
Present.
Alderman Wilshire?
Here.
Alderman McGuinness?
Here.
Alderman Dowd?
Present.
Alderman Schoeneman?
Here.
Alderman Lopez?
Zaki, I'm here.
Alderman LeBrun?
I'm present.
Alderman Clemens?
Here.
Alderman Karen? Alderwoman Malizi-Gola?
Present.
Alderman Siegel?
Present.
We have 15 members present. Also present is His Honor James Mayor Johnchus. Did he? Oh, he's out back. As well as, okay, sorry, and Corporation Steve Bennett. At this time, I would entertain a nomination for President of the Board of Aldermen for the term of 2016-2017. Alderman Wilshire.
Thank you. I place in nomination the name of Brian McCarthy for President of the Board.
Okay, Alderman McCarthy. Alderman McCarthy has been nominated as President of the Board of Aldermen. Are there any other nominations? Alderman Siegel?
I'd like to make a motion to close nominations.
Okay, we have a motion to close nominations. Motion on the floor is to close nominations. All those in favor say by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed? The ayes have it. I hereby declare Alderman Brian McCarthy duly elected as President of the Board of Aldermen for the term of 2016-2017. Oh, yep, sorry, let me take that back one step. We closed the nominations. We need to have a vote on it. I apologize for that. So right in front of us is the vote, notion was, let's try to see it. All those in favor of Alderman McCarthy for the President of the Board of Aldermen for the 2016-2017 term indicate by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? I now state that declare Alderman Brian McCarthy duly elected as President of the Board, and I'd ask Alderman McCarthy to please take the podium, and that Corporation Council please swear in the President of the Board.
Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear that you will faithfully and impartially discharge and perform all the duties incumbent upon you as President of the Board of Aldermen for the City of Nashua, according to the best of your abilities and agreeable to the rules and regulations of the City Charter and the Constitution and laws of the State of New Hampshire, so help you God?
I do.
Congratulations.
Well, Trish, nobody's more anxious to get this over with than I am, but we do have to take the votes. I would open the floor for nominations for Vice President of the Board of Aldermen. Alderman Clemens.
I nominate Alderman Ward Wilshire for Vice President.
Name of Alderman Wilshire has been placed in nomination. Are there further nominations? Alderman Siegel.
I'd like to make a motion to close nominations.
Motion is to close nominations. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And that motion carries. And we'll take a voice vote on the election of Alderman Wilshire to the office of Vice President. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries, and Alderman Wilshire is elected the Vice President of the Board of Aldermen for the ensuing term. Will Alderman Wilshire please come up for the...
You solemnly swear that you will faithfully and impartially discharge and perform all the duties incumbent upon you as Vice President of the Board of Aldermen for the City of New Hampshire, according to the best of your abilities and agreeable to the rules and regulations of the City Charter and the Constitution and laws of the State of New Hampshire, so help you God.
I do.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I will ask the city clerk to deal with the issue of seating.
I'll be going around and I have in my hand the envelopes for seats number 2 through 14. Because number 1 is being reserved for the Vice President and 15 for the President of the Board of Aldermen. I will start by the Alderman at large alphabetically, and then by the Ward Alderman numerically. I ask that you please take an envelope, open it up, and then announce which seat number you have so that it can be properly recorded. Four. Alderman Cookson is seat 4.
Three. Did you randomize these, Patricia?
They were in different orders. I didn't do them. I had somebody in my office do it. They were picked in 2 different locations. I remember that.
Lucky 13.
So Alderman O'Brien has seat 13.
Ten.
Oops, I had to film it.
5. 8.
14.
I have the distinct pleasure of sitting in seat number 11.
Seat number 2.
Seat number 6.
I have 9.
Okay, this is the Powerball number for $1.3 billion. Number 7.
Thank you. I would ask for a nomination of Dr. Anthony Storas, Dr. Charles T. Capetta, and Dr. Thomas Astolfi as members of the Board of Health for the ensuing 2 years. Alderman Melizzi-Golia? Nominations have been made. Next will be a vote on the election of Dr. Anthony Storas, Dr. Charles T. Capetta, and Dr. Thomas Astolfi as members of the Board of Health for the ensuing 2 years. Is there any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion carries, and I declare Dr. Anthony Storas, Dr. Charles T. Capetta, Dr. Thomas Astolfi duly elected as members of the Board of Health for the ensuing 2 years. And is there a motion regarding the committee assignments? Alderman Wilshire? Motion is to accept the committee assignments by the President of the Board of Aldermen as listed. Is there any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? And that motion carries. Next, Alderman Dean, could you come up for a second? Can you come up to the podium for a second?
I didn't do it.
Yeah, yes, you did, and you did it well. I want to thank you for your service as president of the board in the past term. I know a lot about that position, including how uncomfortable that stupid stool is, and I want to thank you for putting up with it. You know, I've known you for 25 years now almost, since those two were knee-high to a grasshopper, and you coached them in baseball, and I want to thank you. Your commitment to the city of Nashua is exemplary, and I'd like to present you on the board, on behalf of the board, with a token of our esteem. In the time I've been on the board, I learned an awful lot about public speaking. When I was first on the board, I learned that you should always go to events prepared to speak, whether you're on the agenda or not, and that you should always open with a joke. Today, I learned that you should bring 2 jokes in case the Master of Ceremonies takes your first one. That was my second one. I want to thank the board for making me the president for the next 2 years. I think we're going to have, let's say, an interesting time. The other thing I learned is be brief, and I'll try to adhere to that, which is made easier by the fact that Governor Hass and Senator Ayotte and the mayor have touched on virtually all of the things I'll speak about. Since we don't have a Pats game, and therefore we don't have the ever popular informational press conference afterwards, I'll channel Bill Belichick and say, we've done some things really well, other things we could do better. In the past few years, we've seen, as the mayor mentioned, the acquisition of Pennachuck, which was a great step forward for our city. the renovation of our downtown infrastructure, which has helped us to build a thriving downtown, and most recently the opening of the Broad Street Parkway, which provides really phenomenal access to our downtown area and to our mill yard. What we need to do is to figure out how to develop those areas now that we have access. We need to work on the zoning in the downtown to promote housing and to promote business. We need to work on economic development in both the mill yard and the technology park at Exit 1 to get good jobs here, to attract the people that we need to live in downtown and in our suburban areas. And we need to face a host of other problems. We need to deal with our infrastructure issues. We need to prepare for commuter rail on the assumption that we're going to get it at some point. We need to look at our traffic in the downtown. And I'm going to call on our various committees to look at those issues and to come up with solutions to them over the next couple of years. And I think most importantly, as has been mentioned earlier today, we need to deal with some of the problems that we get just by virtue of being a small city. The problems of mental illness, homelessness, and substance abuse are problems that will plague us, and my concern is I don't have any idea how to solve them, so I'm going to call upon some of our members to work on those problems. I know that on our Human Affairs Committee we have substantial expertise in those areas, including 2 new members who are very interested in solving those problems. So I look forward to working on those and finding solutions that will help Nashua to move forward. I look forward to working with the board, and I look forward to working with the new administration. So thank you all very much. Are there any remarks from members of the board? Is there a motion? Alderman Wilshire. Motion is to adjourn. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? And we stand adjourned.